Live, live and straight into game one.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Agent to start off the day, right? Agent, favorite to win this event, surely. As much as I love Cypher, as much as Cypher is my all-time favorite Quake player, and on a new map as well, I couldn't ask for more to start this day off.
No, it's going to be a good day. And as you rightly point out, Agent start off. It's going to set the tone. But I think that Agent on LAN, you know, there's this different element to that. Everybody's going to be hitting that a little bit harder. Agent, though, I think with his champion's mentality, with his ability to come out in the clutch, that's even more important on LAN with $10,000 on the line. So a little bit of a column A and a bit of column B for Agent. Some of it not so great, but he's looking good right now. It's back-to-back pincers and now clearly chasing Chera down and will take him out.
Look, Agent's in control of this situation, right? He's positioned himself better. I like the drop down there from Chera. You get the 50 HP, you stay alive a bit more, maybe hit an extra pincer. It's not going to do much for him though, because Agent has time to come and harass the side of the map, and to have time off of this to go and get Mega as well. He's actually left Mega up a little bit here, so a lot of confidence to come over, but the route he's taken, collecting 2 blue armors, I mean, this is just incredible right now, because after this Mega, Chera has nothing to respawn onto. Agent is going to shut down the map. Like, Chera's not going to get an easy blue armor now off of this spawn.
Right, and that's... yeah, that's not ideal.
Yeah, look at this pressure. So this map, maybe people haven't played it as much. It's one of the newer maps. Chera actually stands up with a really good fight there. Agent, we're probably a little bit surprised that that played out that way. I think he was feeling confident to deny the whole map. Two things about this map, I guess. One is that it's easy to get stuck into a bad cycle on blue armors, and the other is that when it swings really hard. So Agent was looking amazing, and suddenly Chera, I'm surprised he's gone this way with Mega coming. You know, played really for the exit damage there and then hasn't made it. It's going to leave him in an awkward spot. He's got good armor, but Agent's going to have a reasonable armor stack as well. And it's just going to be about Chera hitting shots right now to keep Agent at bay and make sure that he can actually try and stay ahead.
Absolutely. 2-2, not the sort of score you would have expected. But Chera is a pretty capable player. He's someone that we've been seeing in online cups quite a bit.
Yeah, sorry to jump in. I actually don't know much about Chera. I haven't seen them play that much, you know. Coming from Australia, I don't think you have a region further away geographically than Russia is to Australia.
No, you probably don't. You probably don't. But yeah, Chera, you know, he's not a top player, but he shows up. He, in practice, you know, gives everyone really good games. And in a group stage like this, with so many games to be played, and it is quite grueling. If yeah, you check the brackets posted in chat just now, we are talking about a huge number of games, and so there's probably going to be a few upsets, and I'm looking forward to it. But Chera now 3-2 up versus the God Emperor. This is unexpected, and albeit it is on his map pick. So Chera picked this, and then I believe Agent picked Skybreak.
It's interesting, right? Because I would think this would be a map that could play to a lot of Agent's strengths. You know, you've got everyone can time Mega, right? But not everyone can visualize a good cycle on blue armors like Agent can. Like Agent just knows what to do around these items. He has a galaxy brain, okay? But yeah, just fighting skills and some really smart decisions. I love that Chera has just been playing this pretty chill, right? Hasn't been taking unnecessary risks. Has just been looking for solid shots, just playing solid Quake and solid DIabotical. Sorry. Oh, where?
Nobody's awake.
It's been a while since I've casted anything. Yeah,
it's all right. It's all right.
But no, like just solid play, right? Like you can't fault anything happening here.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note though, it's not, you know, defensive play. It's solid in terms of he's taking the angles that you take when you're both moving around the map. You do this little dance, and that's sort of where you end up. And he's sitting pretty nicely as well. 4 minutes and 30. I'm wondering when Agent's going to start putting the hammer down, as his stack is absolutely huge, and Chera needs to be careful.
Yep. I think we're going to see Agent play for maybe a pincer shot or two and then commit hard at this next Mega. Chera, I think he's left this position above Mega open a little bit longer than maybe he needs to, because these blues are going to get collected. The trade onto Agent, I don't think it does much because Agent still gets the armor, and now Agent, I think, in a better position for this Mega.
He's almost been void cannoned though, and Chera. Oh, that is superb. So he gets all that damage with the void cannon. And then it
That's
allows
going to be the
him to
difference.
hit that clutch rocket at the end that brings things even. Agent with the aggression, but Chera strikes him down. This is superb stuff from the young Russian.
Yeah, and a bit of a frustration frag from Agent there. You know, you see what he's going for, but it's just not the time to push it. Incredible, right? So, you know, the Void Cannon's been a bit of a controversial weapon, but Chera's use of it there, perfect.
Yeah, really, really good. I mean, using it exactly what it's for. And that's flushing people out of positions. He's on the Mega.
Yeah, well, Agent gives him a sound cue there, and Chera just hears he's on the wrong side. You know, free pick up of that Mega. Agent doesn't get the damage on the drop down. He's positioned a little bit too far back. Chera's going to chase this down, and Agent needs to be really scared right now.
He certainly does. On the high ground, dropping down. Agent will relinquish his position. God love this little ramp here. It's just a fun thing to do your little jump up. And I think we'll be seeing a lot of this map today. So that's good for all the rampy boys.
It feels like you just like get your skateboard out and do a little trick on your way up to the blue.
Jesus. Chera's looking crispy.
Now this is perfect for Agent right now. Chera doesn't need to be taking risks like that around the corner, but Agent just can't get away, right? It's really weird. I don't know what's happened. This doesn't look like Agent.
It doesn't, because the weird thing about Agent is that he just seems to win as if by divine will. Like, a lot of the time, he just walks into a situation. We as casters don't really see why it's a great situation for him, but it is, and then he sort of shows us why, right? So I'm always personally quite surprised by Agent and what he's doing, but here he's just looked a little bit pedestrian, because as much as Chera's playing very well and hitting a lot of nice shots, he's not doing anything that out of the ordinary.
Except maybe a good bit of Void Cannon damage here and there.
Yeah, maybe that's the X factor.
Yeah, but it doesn't account for the whole game. It accounts for a few little situations. Agent really wants to win a fight in this room, right? He wants to win a fight at the grass. I think that's his game plan right now. And I think Agent, he is still in his mind in a position to very comfortably win this game, right? If there's one thing you can say about Agent, it's that he's an extremely confident player. And all it takes is a good situation like that. And I think that's what we haven't seen from Agent so far is, kind of win damage at a fight and then be able to back away into a situation at an item where he can then actually pick up the frag. And that's exactly what Chera's given him. Chera needs to be really careful because now Agent gets to go full Agent, right? First direct rocket, first good prediction direct rocket of the day. First of many we're going to see from Agent.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. 200, 100 now. Oh, you can see how high his sense is on the player cam. That is wild.
Yeah, and maybe because we weren't on Agent's cam for a while, maybe he just like handed his mouse off to someone else. He went to the bathroom or something, and now like he's back in the driver's seat.
Oh, how does he play like this, Tom?
I think there are lots of perks to really high sensitivity, but it just is really bad for your wrist.
It's terrible for your wrist. But Agent doesn't care.
I also think what's important here is that Agent's keyboard, extremely colorful. He's picking up all that extra RGB swag, right? Couple of 360s in there. You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Also, a full-sized keyboard in the year of our Lord 2021. What's going on? What are you using that numpad for, Agent? Right, 8-6. This is a little bit more like it now. This is, where we expect to be. Chera's not out of it yet. Has proven that he can hang with Agent in the fights at the very least. But is he really going to be able to now dig his heels in and fight up against an Agent who's back on form?
Well, we saw him flip control really easily before, and Agent times a little bit too precisely there. Moves away just at the wrong time.
Aboveboard 27, my man, you're going to be disappointed with this stream if you don't like people going off topic. This is TimCon LAN, the home of Just utter shite.
Well, look, we have a lot of games that are going to happen
Wait, just
today.
wait till I get back, all right?
No, we got a lot of games. If we're just talking game for like 4 hours straight here, it's gonna be nonsense by the end.
All work and no play makes Tom a very, very dull boy.
Stuck in the water, Chera. What can you say? Like, what did Chera think was going to happen there? Right? A fantastic lead against Agent, and now that he's lost it, now that the pressure's coming down, it seems like he's crumbled a bit. You know, he just hasn't necessarily had the counterplay.
Yeah, and this is a thing we actually see among really top players versus Agent. Like, as soon as he gets that momentum on you, nobody seems to be able to break it. I think actually one of the really good players in the same region who's going to be playing later today, DIabotical, sort of has that problem where he can have a big run against Agent, he can take him close, he can take maps, but he just doesn't win overall. Like, and I can't explain why exactly. It's like his style is maybe a little bit too conventional in some ways, whereas Agent does surprise.
Yeah, and Agent's ability to look at a situation and work out the best way to attack that you don't expect is ridiculous, right? Like, the only other player who seems to be comparable to it, really, you know, you're looking at Rafa and you're looking at Cypher, but Cypher has a very different style for how he does it.
Right. Well, here is what could be Chera's last stand. Does okay. Agent has to back away, and there's the pincer. 7-9. It's not over yet. Golden frag activated for Agent.
Yeah, that slow field isn't as good as Chera thinks it is, but actually flips around. Really solid angle there. Agent a little bit predictable, dropping down for that 50 HP. Huge play, right? I really thought that trade was going to go badly for Chera, but it's that exit pincer damage. And again, just doing something that seems fairly standard, but really punishing Agent for it.
Ooh, good shaft. So low, next pincer wins, and it's a great opportunity for Chera, apparently. I thought, you know, Agent with the golden frag, you'd love in that situation. What, we're just going to gamble on who hits the first pincer? But
so much confidence.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, in a kind of unagent-like fashion, I guess, right? Like, not really thinking about the rotation of the items there, because Chera was able to pick up a frag and then back away onto these armors. Agent, I mean, he has actually picked up more armor, but he's playing into that slight mega overstack as well.
Chera! Oh, you poor boy.
Oh! Huge. You can't go up this ramp. You can't.
You want to. It feels so good, but you can't.
You could see the disappointment, like Chera's soul just sinking to the ground.
You got so close.
Looks like Agent's having some problems there. He's talking to Tech about something just there at the end as well. So maybe Agent, look, he did 700 less damage than Chera. Still got the win, but maybe he's got some technical issues that he's trying to work out. Maybe this isn't his first LAN, obviously, but maybe he didn't get the setup correct. Sorry to cut you off, GMT.
Not a problem. So this is...
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, this is Hamo, ladies and gents. He's a wonderful Aussie caster, and for the first 4 hours today, I'll be leaving you in the very accomplished hands of Hamo and Phylum. Take it away, boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. I'm sure you've already been here, but this is Hamo speaking, and I got Phylum with the smooth voice sitting next to me. We're from Down Under, Australia, and we love casting DIabotical, especially Jewel. And anyway, we're getting into this map now, Skybreak, and we're watching Agent off the spawn. So Agent gets the blue spawn. We'll probably get this red armor. He's taking it slow to get that slow weeble, and gets the pincer. So setting up here for this shaft, no resistance. So good position and weapon advantage over his opponent already, and Chera is stuck in a difficult situation.
Yeah, Agent just playing it cool, playing it calm. Great spot to put some pressure down on this, like into this mega room after collecting this red. Everything just free so far.
Yeah, and Agent with a full 200 armor stack, so he probably wants to try to get this mega, give him that extra boost on the health as well. Happy to take all this damage, and he's still got heaps of stack as well. So probably try to trade here, exit, and get the armor. He goes aggressive through the teleporter.
Oh,
It's such a ballsy play, but he knew that the blue armor wouldn't be up, and the spawn as well. And that is such a beautiful spawn that he just forced as well, because you can stand on either side of that corridor and either force him to spawn at red or force him to spawn at the yellow. And he decided the red's up, so I'm going to make him spawn at the yellow, and he got some spawn damage as well. So commanding start here from Agent, and really showing his experience on an older map than Amberfall that we just watched.
yeah, Agent just has the plan, right? Like, I feel like you can apply that start to every time you play this map and get that spawn, but the execution to make it work definitely isn't easy. Nothing up on the map right now, so Chera, building up a bit of a stack with these yellow armors. It's going to be a good opportunity, make some damage, make something, but it's going to be hard to outposition Agent. Agent set up here near this blue armor, long angles, potential to shut Chera out, and Chera, no presence at any red armors so far this map. I think that's a bit of a weird decision.
Yeah, although Chera's stack is quite good, and Agent happy just to trade right here because he knew the Mega was up, or was left up, so happy to trade damage. But he comes through the teleporter again with the slow weevil play, does so much damage, and he knows he has the pincer advantage as well, so an interesting play there. Probably wanted Chera to be a bit more aggressive, and he did get Chera to be a bit more aggressive, but poor timing with the drop, and Chera will get his foot into the door and a start on this map.
Chera's LG is so smooth. Like, that's awesome to watch. A good bit of LAN LG pressure, right? Like, those fights, so crisp. Agent wants to pressure the blue armor, but might leave him in a weird spot. Oh, perfect.
And that's a classic, shoot the door, shoot the pincer play there at that blue armor. But I don't know. I was surprised that Agent peeked there, and he comes through the teleporter, hears him above him, and he whiffs a bunch of shots, and then that means that Agent has way more stack for this next fight, and Cherry's got to be really careful here and not get surprised by Agent.
Yep.
Yeah, and there you go, Agent with the perfect sneak around to that blue armor, jumps up with the slow weevil as well. So, or was that Cherry's slow weevil? I'm not sure, but either way, Agent with a really nice sneaky play there, and he's won himself full control of the map. Look at that stack difference.
Yeah, and straight away, like, once you give Agent the opportunity to take full control like this, he's going to take it. He's got the pressure on with the pincer. A frag is coming. Chera, don't know what that was, but, he goes down. That's all that matters. Agent has time to look for this pincer shot before rotating back to red. He's going to know that he can put his foot on the accelerator here because the yellow's up. If he gets in, he can try and block Chera in or deny this yellow. Chera, wise not to go to the yellow because he just would have died. This is a disaster, Hamo.
Yeah, Chera's really got his back against the wall here. And look at the split between the items as well. Agent has so much time here to get to the blue armor if he wants to, and he knows it. And yeah, Chera nowhere to be seen. Agent doesn't need that blue armor. He probably will bait this red armor. He needs to take some time off the clock to split the items anyway. Yeah, and Chera doesn't want a piece of it. So, Chera does have the opportunity to get this yellow armor here, but if he does go there, he will corner himself in that side of the map again. And he did get the yellow armor, so Agent is looking for him, probably will find him. But yeah, actually, this is a scary situation. Oh, beautiful play there by Agent, catching his opponent out with his back turned, and what a crushing frag that is for Chera.
Yeah, it really looked like Chera had confused Agent there, but then Agent just turned around and confused him right back. Good to be able to respawn onto that red, but it's not going to amount to anything. Agent with the pause. Something's wrong.
He's waving at his screen. He's got something wrong. Waving at the screen.
I wish we had player mic as well. That would perfect this, right? If we could hear like the angry Russian swearing when things weren't working properly.
Okay, we're back. No, we're not. Yes. Okay. What's wrong? What's wrong, Agent?
Do you need to talk, Agent? Tell us about your problems.
He's got some issue though, and he kept waving at his screen. I think he was saying something's wrong with his screen. Maybe maybe he's not getting the hertz that he wants or something.
That'd be my guess. Yeah. Apparently, someone in chat saying you don't have game sound. That's weird because we have game sound, so you guys should have game sound.
Do you guys not have game sound?
They
Sounds
I
like
think they have game sound.
Okay.
Apparently
It is a
it's
bit
very
of a
low.
meme, isn't
I'll
it?
bring it up.
He's not getting the full 360 hertz, Kotsikaki says. We do not have game sound. Game sound is fine here. There is game sound, but it is low. All right.
Yeah,
Great feedback,
Joel.
everyone. Good job. We got to the bottom of it. And this match resuming in 3, 2, 1 bug is giving me an anxiety attack. So
Yeah, I know. Right?
Yeah, so as we learned in the test tournament series, you have to give players admins so they can infinite pause. We embarrassingly had this issue during it was like a MacGuffin overtime, and we had to keep pausing for a minute at a time. It was good.
Yeah. So what kind of mouse is Agent using there? I don't recognize it. It's not honeycomb. It doesn't have all the gaps in it. It looks like it might be looks like it could be something a bit older, to be honest. Like maybe a Death Adder or a WMO.
It looks like it's not a WMO.
It's not.
It looks like a Zowie to me. It's got that like dark plain look.
It's looking like an FK2 to me.
Yeah, FK2. Maybe even an FK2. Maybe an FK1.
And Agent's placement at the LAN is really interesting as well. He's put himself up against a wall in a corner with no one behind him. So he wants a nice little private booth for himself. So he can't get distracted by his enemies. I wonder how early he got to the LAN so he could get that particular spot. Or do you reckon he got special treatment because he's #1 seed?
I reckon he was camping out overnight. Like any advantage,
And this guy's coming in with the faded jeans on the right. Faded jeans man is not really solving any problems. Agent is visibly frustrated, pointing his keyboard, fucking this, fucking that. Oh my god, look how frustrated he is.
Yeah, he is not happy. It actually reminds me, were you around, Hamo, when Rooney was playing in Australia?
Come on, this isn't good enough, he says. Wow. No, I wasn't.
He's Russian.
Oh, he's going to text his manager.
Yeah, oh man. Someone's about to get an angry phone call.
Oh! He left the game.
That's it.
What the hell? Oh, what? Handshake came out? Is that a forfeit from Agent?
Or did Chera hand it over to him? Did Chera just accept defeat?
What?
Right,
what just happened? Okay, someone that can translate Russian needs to be in the chat so we can hear the interview here, because I need to know what happened.
Oh, the problems with Chera.
Oh, the problems with Chera. Chera paused the game.
Oh my god.
Right,
oh,
yeah,
was Agent saying how long can he pause the game for? This isn't fair, or?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, right. Well. I guess that's $16.67 in Agent's favor. And
here he comes for an interview. The man, the legend. Look at how comfortable Agent looks, right? Like he is feeling good.
Yeah, but this is...
Все за ним замечают такую штуку, его предупредили, что нельзя, это же соревнование, ну то есть как бы так не работает.
He doesn't look frustrated, but he definitely looked frustrated before.
Yeah, I feel like Agent has a good range, right? Like he's super passionate in the game, but then he also does not really give a fuck about anything, right? I think that's one of his strengths.
Yeah. He's looking a bit more weathered than I've seen him in the past. Maybe he has a nice home setup with nice lighting and wears makeup and those kinds of things.
You wouldn't put makeup on to come to a LAN though? Come on. But no, this Agent just has a real presence about him, right? Like he sits there, he's got his legs crossed, he's got his arms crossed, he has a lot of physical presence in the room, right? Like when he streams,
Definitely.
his face says a lot about the game. He's a very confident man, and it just reflects in every aspect of his gameplay. I love it.
Definitely. And look how many notes the interviewer has written down. This is amazing preparation for this interview right now.
Данчиш в положительную и в отрицательную? Ну, сейчас посмотрим, он нервничает.
Ooh, I think I don't know, I'm not certain, but I think he just asked who is your biggest opponent in this tournament. And he paused, and he was like, Sanchez.
Мы пока не знаем, это матч,
Not Cypher, interestingly. Agent not afraid of Cypher.
Ну, сам понимаешь, потому что ребята как бы долго настраиваются, логинятся в дискордах и так далее. Значит, у тебя следующий матч с кем?
I reckon the interviewer was like, so how close do you reckon Sanchez can get to you? And he was like,
yeah, Agent's here to win every game, you know.
I don't know if the chat knows, but every map in this tournament is worth $16.67. So they're playing 2 maps per series against every single opponent, big round robin, and every map's worth $16.67. And then the top 4, I think, go into finals, and then I think first and second get prize as well. Is there a prize for 3rd and 4th?
Unsure.
I'm having a look.
It's a lot of money.
Producer man is here. I really love, so the prize pool, $10,000 by a good studio, right? And then disclaimer, you're gonna pay tax.
Yeah. The good studio, yeah. Paying off the Russian government as well as Diabotical Russia.
Yeah, so first place gets $3,000, second place $1,500, third place $1,000, and fourth place $500.
Plus the map wins during the round robin.
Yeah.
That's cool. Alright.
Oh, we gotta work out the maximum. So you play 15 best of 2 series.
Okay.
$16
30
a
times
map.
1667. That's $500.
Not bad. Did you say 16? Yeah, 1667 per map win.
Oh no, sorry, but 15 matches.
So $32,
maps.
32 times 15, so that's maths.
32 times 16.67, 533.44 cents.
There you go. There you go, it's not bad. So your maximum win is $3,500 basically.
So if you win every map and come first place, you get $3.5 USD. Wow.
Agents rubbing his hands together at the thought of that.
And that is 259,000 Russian rubles.
Those rubles go a long way.
Like, I think Agent's full-time streaming and gaming, right? I think
a coffee will give you will cost 145 Russian rubles. So if you are getting coffees, that can give you 1,793 coffees by winning this tournament in every single map. So that's a pretty good haul, guys. That's all I'm saying. If you want to convert that to, you know, what that's worth in Australia.
In Melbourne coffees, you know, you get like, what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, that's like $8,000 in Australian worth. So that's quite a lot of money at the end of the day. Like, yeah.
But you know, it is super interesting how Agent's been able to live off of, you know, like Quake and Diabotical winnings, and I think, doesn't he also bet on dog races? And he just has like a few little sources of income. Wouldn't be enough to live on in like Australia or America, but cost of living's lower over there, so he wins things in US dollars that translate really favorably into his currency. It's my understanding of it anyway.
Yeah, I think you don't know.
Так, ну
потренироваться.
смотрите, во-первых,
So we
у
will
нас
actually have
спрашивают
some
по поводу
questions in
звука,
English
хотя
throughout the
озвучка мы
day.
были чуть
I've been
погромче, но мы
promised
нормально,
by.
хорошо. Все, ребят, просто прибавьте, пожалуйста,
By,
звук на
I don't
своих
mind these
датчиках,
interviewers. They obviously
и
get
все
along
будет
well with
хорошо.
the
А
players.
дальше
They're giving them like
спрашивают,
quite
когда будут
insightful
обновляться
questions,
результаты
it
на
seems,
сайте.
because
Как только, так сразу, как вам такой ответ?
I think they're actually like legitimately
Ну вот,
asking
в
technical
целом,
questions about the game.
и сколько
Which is pretty cool.
Калину лет?
They're reading the stream chat right
30 лет.
now.
Николаю, агенту, 31
Oh, they're
год.
asking chat questions from chat.
Поэтому...
Так, ну я, наверное, могу
Ну, в
идти.
целом, наверное,
Я
всё.
думаю, да, мы можем, в принципе, сейчас
следующую игру
поставить небольшую минимальную паузу и позвать
But yeah, I guess if
игрока,
people in our
перед
chat have
командой.
questions,
Это у
send them
нас,
our way and we'll try and
сайт.
pass them over and maybe get them asked. I don't know.
Maybe.
Don't know how it'll work, but we'll try.
Ну,
Yeah,
всё,
yeah,
да,
we
большое
can
спасибо.
try that. The fella on the left there, Yura, has a great Twitch stream. It's Yura the Travel Guide. So the guy is like a historian, and he does tours around St. Petersburg, and he works in a museum and stuff, and it's really, really cool. So he does like virtual tours of a museum and goes to where he goes to like in a museum and then to each individual painting and talks about the history of it and the meaning of it. It's really, really cool. So I'll get a link for that in chat.
Sounds amazing, yeah.
It is amazing. It's really cool.
And we're gonna be going on to a Cypher game second. So straight out the gate, watching Agent, watching Cypher. Man, I mean, you know, it's everything I wanted.
Cypher in Diabotical. Okay, so he was streaming the other day, and Alexi seemed like he was a little bit frustrated with his form. I don't think he felt like he was really up to scratch. So I think maybe he, you know, we'll see him kind of develop as the day goes. But obviously he's played one match so far. So I'm not sure the result of that first match, but the second match of the day, hopefully his form has gotten a little bit better and he's feeling relaxed.
So Cypher's strengths, right? Cypher hits like an absolute truck. Like his aim is superhuman. And he has a really great ability to stage like long fights, right? So he pokes his head in, he deals some damage, he leaves the room, and then he comes back into the room when you're just like facing the wrong way and obliterates you because you just weren't ready, right? He catches you off guard. He hits ridiculous mid-air rockets. He's a really powerful player and a really scary player, and he's a really experienced player as well, right? Like he's been playing professionally on LAN since 2006, I think, right? Quake 4, 2006, 2007.
Yeah, he did the SWC, didn't he? And then 2007 we returned to Quake 3 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But the thing that gets me is that he can be a professional that's played Quake for his entire life, but he's still finding it difficult to come into Diabotical and just be the top straight away, even though none of the other QPL players are competing in it. And I think that goes to show the level of the rest of the Diabotical scene is really rising and rising fast. So, I mean, if the QPL guys don't start practicing as soon, they may get left behind.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really hot talent in this tournament. I think Russia especially is doing extremely well for Diabotical Duel. I was watching Rel play. Rel's been looking really good. Inns is always just phenomenal to watch. Inns was also a QPL player. Danchez, absolute beast. There's loads of good games. I mean, you know, we got to see Agent. I'm going to gush over Cypher all day because he's probably my favorite like Quake player of all time. But yeah, coming into Diabotical, definitely got a lot of talent.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of form Cypher's in. Obviously, hopefully he knows where all the spawns are, because I feel like his understanding of the spawn system in Quake Champions and Quake Live was amazing, and he played around that a whole lot, and I feel like he will bring that to Diabotical as well. And it's the same kind of spawn system, so hopefully he's got a bit of practice around that. And I think what we're really going to see is some really amazing shaft play from Cypher in this match. I think he can really bring the shaft out. And I don't know how to say it. Is it Fancy?
Fancy? Fancy?
Fancy? GMT, can you fill us in on this, or someone
I
in chat
can't.
maybe?
Literally never heard of the guy, which is weird because I've casted entirely too much Diabotical. But no, not a clue. So we've got there his dual ranking. He's an architect over 2k, so should be able to give a decent game. And I think, you know, we saw that a little bit earlier. Chera, who usually wouldn't get a sniff of Asian, was taking him pretty close. So maybe there's hope for these lesser known guys yet.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to say, right? Like, Shaft on LAN is something else. Until you've experienced it, right? Like, there's nothing else quite like it. I think, Hamo, you've played, like, Phrase on LAN, right?
Oh, mate. In Quake Live, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In Quake Live, LAN is like a whole different experience because rockets come out with your ping delay, and so much happens that is like delayed by ping, and then the shaft just hits you so much harder. So yeah, I don't know. There's something special about LAN, but in Diabotical, I haven't really experienced LAN, so I can't really say.
From the people that have played it, I hear it's pretty similar. Like, it's a similar kind of difference. Like, the way you get pushed around in a fight, because everything just hits that much harder and that much, I guess, sooner. Like, fights just feel different, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much accurate. I mean, the thing is when we had the LANs, it was at a time when the netcode wasn't in yet, so it was all client-side anyway. So it was less of a jump, but I would imagine it would feel very different now.
Okay, so predictions. So what maps do we want to see Cypher play, right? Because we've got some new maps in the pool. I haven't really seen them in too many tournaments yet. Monolith, I get some low-key Aerowalk vibes from that map.
No, I wouldn't say Monolith is like Aerowalk. I think Monolith is a big donut with a run through the middle. So like you could say it's a figure 8, but I think it gets played mostly like a donut. And yeah, like I can see what you're saying with the Aerowalk vibes, but in terms of like in Aerowalk, there is an obvious weak side of the map and a strong side of the map, and you know, you force your opponent to spawn in places and then you play footsies because it's so small and there's so many sight lines. Whereas in Monolith, you have a lot more space to operate. It actually really, it kind of feels quite big, more like a 2v2 style map in my opinion. But it's developing quite nicely in the dual scene as well. And I think one thing that's really interesting about Monolith that is similar to Aerowalk, to go back to your comparison, is that both of the major items are in risky positions. In fact, nearly all the items, nearly all the armors are in risky positions. But in terms of map speed and flow, I'd say Monolith is a lot slower than Aerowalk. I think it's more. I can't really think of a comparison off the top of my head, but I think it's more of the kind of map where you slowly work your opponent down, you squeeze them out like a cooler style of playing duel, and then you just get the easy frag. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, so do you think it's a Cypher map? Or do you think he's going to go better on something like your Amber Fall, where you have like blue armor cycles and one huge item that you fight over? I guess Rhea is a really interesting map because there are so many good fights you can stage around the red. There are so many ways you can fight around the Mega. The Mega's just like a huge trap.
Он, во-первых, не так много именно в Diabotical отыграл дуэлей, и, соответственно, все-таки LAN...
Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by these chairs. Who makes black leather chairs with bright yellow trims and buttons on them? Like...
What? In what context do you decide this is the interior design? Yeah.
This is the interior design we're going for. We don't know, by the way, stream, we don't know what's going on right now with this match. They said Cypher a couple of times, but I feel like maybe the players started the game without letting the streamer in or something. We're kind of left in the dark here, so we were just waiting for the next game to start. But if you guys in chat got to design your ultimate caster couch, what kind of couch would it be? I want this discussion to be made.
Ну, конечно, конечно. Все помнят, конечно, там...
Also, if anyone speaks Russian, feel free to let us know what's going on.
So last time we did a Russian LAN, we did have a couple of people. Last time we had a Russian LAN, we did have a couple of people do the translation. But maybe they haven't cottoned on just yet.
Ну, это двойственно, потому что она...
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Back to your question about Cypher and what maps I think he'd be good at. I don't think he'd be good at any of the new maps because I don't know how much DIabotical he's actually been playing. So I feel like Monolith, maybe he'd be good because there's a lot of space to operate, so it's not like a map where you really need to learn the timing between getting from A to B. But I think in Amber4 he could really struggle because there's a lot of places to be surprised there, and he's probably not very experienced on the map, so and you can get from A to B really quickly if you want to, so yeah.
Yeah, it really does come down to game time here. Crib reckons Cypher's going to get rid of Amberfall every time. Yeah, I reckon Amberfall's like the weirdest map, right? Raya, you look at it, you get how to play it. Monolith, you look at it, you kind of like, you can see what you can do, you can see what the attacks look like. Amberfall's a bit more subtle. And a bit more like the routing around the map's a bit weird.
I actually think like at first I thought, oh, Amberfall came first in the mapping contest. I can't believe that Amberfall is first in the mapping contest. But the more that I play it, the more that I think actually this map is really complex, and a game where you can push into a room and kill your opponent like in DIabotical could actually mean that you can surprise your opponent and do like kind of surprise attacks a lot, which is a really interesting thing, and I'm really interested to see how it develops. And I think it might be the kind of map where you could actually see like a meta of how it's played. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's really, I think they've done really well with the maps as well. I don't know if it was deliberate, but I see Monolith and Raya as maps that are actually quite easy to learn. Like I said, you can kind of look at them, you can see some obvious attacks, you can see some obvious ways you play it, and then Amberfall, yeah, is this more complex beast that I think it could even last more than a season in the map pool, whereas the other two, I think we'll be ready for new maps at the end of the season. But yeah, we could see Amberfall stick around for a couple of years. It's got a lot of potential.
This guy does seem quite awkward sitting next to this lady, I gotta say. He's got his hand between his legs, which is really concerning. And do all people like do you usually in chat, guys, do you usually sit with your legs apart and your fist between your crotch? Is that a normal way to sit?
I feel like when you're getting coached to be on camera, it's something they tell you not to do, right? It's one of the it's a weird pose, and he's very slouched as well. I don't know. Posture abuse.
Ну просто даже психологически это очень круто, когда, грубо говоря, ты входишь в игру, в тебя никто не верит, на тебя нет никаких шансов, и ты выигрываешь. Чем когда ты такой приходишь, за тебя все болеют, и ты побеждаешь. Ну типа, понятно.
Нет, самое плохое, если ты проигрываешь, каждый тебя топит.
Вот нет, это вообще.
I'd really be interested to know what they're talking about right now. But I gotta say, they are entertaining, even though I can't speak the language. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that there's a game soon. Please hang in there with us, everyone.
5 to 10 minutes, and look, it's going to be worth it, right? We're going to get to see Cypher on LAN, something that we haven't seen in Arena FPS for a couple of years now. 2 years, year and a half.
Oh God,
When was the last time?
Right. That's sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there hasn't really been any Arena FPS LAN other than the previous Russian DIabotical one.
TimCon.
Yeah, over a year. When was TimCon?
November 2019.
Yeah, okay. So it would have been one of the last ones
Wow.
before lockdown.
So this is Russia. This is Cypher's first LAN back as well.
Well, there just hasn't been any LAN, right? 2020, it'll just shut down. Man. I went to a LAN in August 2019. I went to one of the last Quake LANs.
Big shout out to a man I think you're familiar with based on the message, Bolter, for $5.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'll read you the message, but I won't do the accent. Fucking oos, get your shaft out and start playing with it, so keep to see some shaft play on stream. I do believe you meant keen rather than keep, but there we go.
I love it. Bolter's the guy who sold me his secondhand GTX 1060, so mad shout outs to him. He's powering my DIabotical at more than 5 frames a second.
What a guy.
Что охваты — это классная штука. Я думаю, вы понимаете, о чем я. Это хорошо, конечно. Так, кто у нас сейчас будет играть?
Cypher.
GMT, you just had someone liken you to the chair.
Oh, sorry.
By the way,
It's a pretty
Strauss
swanky
dual
chair.
map is really good, and I think someone should do an art pass on Strauss dual map, because I think that could actually be a really fun DIabotical dual map. It's probably the smallest and most intense dual map that I've ever played. Really good situations. So someone please have a look at Strauss dual map and give it an art pass, because it deserves it.
Yeah, he was robbed
Anyway,
in the mapping contest. No.
I don't know what you guys are looking at, but all I'm looking at is the fact that they have a factory branded laptop in the room. I can't believe they got that custom made for this LAN.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, honestly though, jokes aside, this LAN is pretty impressive from like a production standpoint, and it's so cool that we get to just watch all of it. And you know, we have it so that we don't have Russian caster audio, but apart from that, we get the whole stream. It's really cool, and I want to give a big shout out to the factory LAN people for being ever so accommodating and also enthusiastic about getting a good English stream going.
I think it's amazing, yeah. We can basically just piggyback off of this without doing any of the hard work, you know. Like, these guys are amazing. It's incredible that they put it together.
Yeah. And also shout outs, of course, Good Studio for $10,000. Always helps.
Yeah, if someone could please DM me the form of how to get prize money, that would be great. I'm sure this is organized before they did the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, I hope we get some games soon, guys, in the chat. Just about. Let's get some games going.
Elder, are you in the chat? That's a big name.
That's one of our Russian casters, actually. Lots trying an Elder.
Nice. Elder, if you know what's going on, give us a shout.
Также не забываем, Таня, что у нас есть наши партнеры.
Да, конечно, наши замечательные партнеры. Смотрите, у нас есть Esports.ru, Good Studio, Factory, знаете, и...
Коллизиум, наш место проведения.
Да, Коллизиум, мы проводим все это в Коллизиум, Парк Победы. И...
I want to learn Russian.
Deathmatch TV.
Deathmatch TV, вот эти ребята. Вот, смотрите, какой интересный у них логотип. Да, Deathmatch TV, Sports.ru.
FaZe also likes the chairs. It's not just Hamo.
They do look super comfy, I gotta say. Like, I wonder if they were at the venue beforehand or if they got like brought in. But either way, I'm happy they're there, and I'm a bit jealous that I don't have that kind of seat right now.
There was some talk of setting up a studio in Australia for covering AFPS events at Dirtbox's house, and that was like, I was so down for that, and then it never happened. It's a good story. What is exciting is that I've actually got like a home office now, and so like, I have a room. I could have a little I could have a camera set up and sit and have like a little pseudo studio. You know, we could have the virtual studio. I wouldn't have a black and yellow couch, but like it'd be, oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god, a game's happening.
it might be happening.
I'm just going to refresh the stream to make sure like I'm up to date, because I think YouTube streams do tend to desync after a little bit.
We will be taking the stream down momentarily in a second so that we can switch over to our producer, Adam. In fact, I might pull it now. I'm just going to check with him that he's all up.
Don't kill us, GMP, no!
I'd never kill you, Hamo, because then I couldn't exploit you for free labor.
Yeah, my girlfriend's pissed off about that.
She can take it up with the judge.
I'll get her to have a conversation with you sometime about it, okay? I'm loving this smooth tune that they play in the background.
It's nice, isn't it? It's nice.
It's very relaxing before an intense game of DIabotical.
That's what you need. You've had a good like 15-minute break, right? Everyone's like losing focus. Everyone's falling asleep. You play some chill tunes. Then you jump into the game. Snap them back to reality.
Yeah, guys, it's almost like, you know, when you go to, you know, shock your body from hot and cold. You know, you go to the sauna, you sit in the sauna for a while, then you jump in the freezing ocean, you snap your body. It's good for you, you know. It's kind of like this experience, you know. You calm down, and then, boom, game starts. Your heart beats 1,000.
Where are you going that has a beachfront sauna?
I'm not going to reveal
not gonna dox
where I
your,
go to
your,
the
your
sauna,
location.
okay? I'm not going to reveal that. Oh, we're in game. All right.
Whoa.
And we've got Monolith.
And are we restarting the stream or something? Or
We will be after this first map. We're just giving our producer 10 minutes to wake up.
Oh,
Yeah, can someone in chat that knows the players let us know how to pronounce Fancy's name or Fancy?
I'm gonna go with
Can
Fancy
you
for
say
now.
say it phonetically, please? I don't want to sound like an idiot, but yeah.
I've heard it might be thank you, as in
The
thank you.
TimCon feed has YouTube controls on it,
Yes,
by the
it
way.
does. And it will no longer.
Oh my, Cypher is spread. He's playing like a starfish. I love being able to see the players' setups. Holy, what is this? Why is he so spread out? What's the benefit of this?
Yeah, he
Establishing
kind of plays
dominance.
like he's like driving like a Gundam wing plane or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
you know, he likes to take up as much space as possible in game, so he takes as much space as possible out game. Anyway, we're into the game now. Cypher off the spawn, playing Monolith first. He does get the red armor spawn, and Fancy comes straight in, steals that red armor and runs off. So giant start here from Fancy, and Cypher's not happy about it. Will Cypher punish? Has the positional advantage, but takes so much damage, and Fancy with the first frag. So giant start here from Fancy after the big delay, but this next red armor is going to determine a lot of things.
Yeah, so I mean, Cypher, you know, he does have the stack advantage for it. Good use of the smoke there. That's going to mean Fancy actually slips away. Oh,
Yeah, who threw
with
that
all of
smoke? Was that Cypher or Fancy?
Genuinely couldn't tell. The slow field comes out a little bit too slow. Fancy hits a lot with the shaft, but he's not going to be able to get down into this mega.
Oh, beautiful dodging there by Cypher, just to stand in the corner, still in the corner. Fancy made a calculated decision to shoot the rocket just in front of him to make sure that if he walked out, he would get at least hit a bit, but he hardly took any damage, and that is just a veteran AFPS player move. But oh my goodness, Fancy with another amazing play, jumps into the room and then uses the dash to get close to him, so does a little bit of a movement trick, and it throws Cypher's rocket off, and Cypher doesn't know how to deal with that dash mechanic straight into his face. And yeah, Fancy actually showing some real chops so far in this match. 2 frags apiece, 1 minute 30 in, and he's timed that slow weeble as well. So what can he do?
For a player we literally hadn't heard of, going 2-2 against Cypher, and yeah, pulling out some really sick moves, some really slick fights. It's incredible. Now this red, Fancy's set up for. I don't know how Cypher's going to get in here. From behind, catching him by surprise is good. The smoke comes out, Fancy doesn't have the time, and Cypher looks like he's done everything right, but the grenade play is too strong.
Oh my goodness. And actually, Cypher's timing on that red armor was phenomenal, but Fancy will come in with the Ceci off the spawn play. Gets the easy follow-up, knowing the timing of the mega health as well. But just to go back to the last... Oh, no. Back into the game right now. Cypher, great movement, but takes the rocket. Fancy, all he needed to do was hit that rail. But the difference is missing a rail, hitting a rail, and then receiving an amazing rocket in return by Cypher as he falls down. So we're just seeing a back and forth right now. Both players just trying to win every single item and play, the mechanics fighting game. And
Cypher dodges forward there. Just talking about mechanics, right? Like Cypher dodges forward with the shaft out, completely avoids the damage of that rocket, and now here comes a bit of momentum, right? And like this scrappy game's worked well for Fancy so far, but now that Cypher has a bit of momentum behind him, like he just has to make sure it doesn't turn into this spawn and die. Cypher able to get the items off the back. The sync up of the red and mega is going to be good for Fancy here, though.
what is Cypher looking at right now? I saw him look down a couple of times. Maybe he's like looking at notifications from his phone or something. But he needs to be in the game and concentrating on the game, because Fancy has shown himself capable to push him so far, but maybe Cypher is feeling ridiculously comfortable.
These are really solid fighting skills.
Oh no, and Fancy is starting to come undone now. You can just see that Cypher, yep, the tilt of the neck, he's like, alright, I'm getting into it now, I'm getting the hang of this game again. And, oh, beautiful direct rocket on the way into the room. Follow up, easy kill, knows the timing on the mega, and Cypher has him in the palm of his hand right now.
I think something that Fancy did well in the first few frags, he was getting really good entrances and kind of catching Cypher a little bit off guard with some of his entrances. It looks like Cypher, especially in that mega room, has been positioning a little bit more evenly, I guess. Like, there are a lot of doorways into mega room. And so, you know, there are just different ways you can set up, and I think Cypher's kind of adapted here to the kind of pressure that Fancy's pulling out.
Cypher obviously is showing that he actually has a really good understanding of monoliths so far. He knows where literally everything is down to the last shard, and he's moving around the map really well. And yeah, see, he just came into this room just for that 25 health bubble. So showing maybe his ability to learn maps really quickly is a really strong trait of Cypher, but yeah, showing that he actually does know this map really well. Maybe he's been grinding DIabotical a little bit while he hasn't been on a main account. And oh my goodness, at that LG catch, that was absolutely superb. Fancy gave no resistance, didn't even shoot a single shot, didn't even know where Cypher was. That's how beautiful that shaft catch was. Floated in midair, made him levitate like a magician, and gets the frag.
Yeah, and I think that's really important as well. Like, Fancy got, like I was saying, he got really good entrances, but if he's not getting damage before these entrances, now that Cypher's kind of twigged onto how he's playing, it's just going to be frag after frag for Cypher. He needs opening damage to make these fights come, and if he can get opening damage, we've seen that he can show up in equal fights. But yeah, he just needs to do a little bit more than he is right now.
Well, I feel like we're just not seeing any resistance right now from Fancy. Like, Cypher is not only dominating him in every fight, but also getting every single weapon, and is also getting pre-fire or sideline shots on him as well. So Fancy needs to sort himself out, because he started this duel really well, playing the like back and forth kind of game, showing that he could go toe to toe with Cypher. But then as soon as Cypher got control of the map, Fancy just has come undone completely, and he doesn't know what he's doing. It feels like he's a bit lost right now.
It's hard, right? As a player, how do you look at a situation and say, yes, this is the situation where I'm going to damage Cypher in a fight, win on damage, and then back away, right? Like, you've got to have big balls to do that.
Yeah, and he stuck himself into this room again. And Cypher knows this. He comes in for the easy kill, and he's put himself in golden frag. 7 minutes into the game. 11 frag spread. It is a monumental task to try to bring this back from Fancy. Although he does have a bit of a positional advantage there. Cypher with the great rocket dodging. And this will likely go Cypher's way.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. He hears Fancy in this room again. Cypher just looking to trap him in a corner, just somewhere he can get this last frag. You know, like, it doesn't matter how much stack he comes away with. He can spend as much as he likes.
Fancy Defy Theo says. Thank you, Theo. Alright, Fancy Fancy Okay,
Cypher's
cool.
getting trapped. GG.
Oh, the grenade almost finished him off. I'd love to know how much health he actually had just then, but that would have been an amazing way to finish it. And look at that. At the end of the day, like, after a 2-2 start, and then Fancy got one more frag, ends up being a complete landslide from that point on for Cypher. 1,500 more damage, or 1,400 more damage, and yeah, 15-3. So I think we're going on to Amberfall now. Is that correct? From what you said earlier, or Cypher just checking his Twitch feed? Obviously, he's just needs to get that positive reinforcement between his games.
Get hyped up, yeah.
Yeah, but commanding game there from Cypher. And I've never heard of Fancy E, but he's obviously able to compete at a high level if he made it into this LAN. And yeah, Cypher just showing how dominant of an arena FPS player he is.
And that melee is so loud. Is that meant to be that loud?
In 3, 2, 1, fight.
Alright. Fancy red spawn. I tend to like the spawn. You know, I just like having the pincer. You're the playmaker if you have the pincer. You're the guy trying to hit the shot, trying to open up the map so that this first rotation goes better for you. Nothing too strange happening here. We have a swap of positions. Everyone gets everything that they want. This red's going to be coming. Fancy needs to get into the room. Cypher's already there. Fancy looking for the rockets. Connects with a pretty good one. And this has gone quite well for him, actually. Cypher's going to hit some good damage on the way out. Cypher really shouldn't be getting away with that, but he does. And, well, not a load of stack. Fancy some nice quick movement to get onto that Mega. Cypher has the spam, but still going to be quite weak. Forced to just play back towards this yellow armor. Maybe. Looked like he was maybe going to just ignore it there. So Fancy walking away with the red. Cypher walking away with the yellow. Fair bit of stack on everyone's hands there. Or Cypher caught in a bit of a bad spot.
I'd say Cypher is chilling now. Like, I'm sure he's not happy about giving up that first frag, but I don't think he's feeling any pressure anymore from this game. And yeah, I think what we're going to see from Cypher is a lot of just pushing hard, a lot of just you know, going for little bits of extra damage here and there, and cheeky frags. So actually, Fancy picks up that red armor maybe a little bit too early. There's only a 5-second difference between Mega and red armor now, and that could come back to bite him in the butt. But Cypher will be able to get away with some great dodging there. Doesn't give up the frag, and Fancy can get this Mega health and then rush the red armor if he's quick. He probably won't be able to get there in time. Cypher, does he have position? He does not, and Cypher actually gives it up, and now Fancy is in a 200 stack. And Cypher, what are you going to do, mate?
Yeah, I think what you said is right, because like, this is a really long day of games. I think we're going to see Cypher just try and be really cheeky here, stay alive, hit damage where he can, and just win huge clutch fights. Look at this, just playing for all the plus back damage. He's going to get popped. All these items denied by Fancy. Just like literally every item on the map they're denied to Cypher except for that Mega. Fancy trying to push through. There goes Cypher. Cypher is just... He's a well-oiled machine when it comes to playing these angles, hitting these pincer shots and disappearing.
Oh, look at that dodge by Cypher. Oh my god, he almost outdamaged Fancy E 2-1 there. That's some impeccable dodge. I'm sure Fancy E has some great shaft to make it into this tournament. And yeah, Cypher's dodging so far has been fantastic. And Cypher with the very risky play probably would have made that if he wasn't feeling extremely confident about that duel, about this duel so far. And uh-oh, it's not good for Fancy E.
Yeah, he's in an awkward spot.
He's so awkward. He's just gonna pick up these shards and just run off and get the rest of the map. So yeah, I think Fancy E might be sweating a little bit now.
Yeah, and I think if you're Fancy as well, you have to realize that Cypher is playing a very different game here. Like, he is on another level.
On another level, but he is taking it fairly easy. You can see that Cypher isn't sweating, you know?
Yeah.
He's
not
trying to make a... Oh my goodness, where did Cypher even come from just then? He just surprised him out of nowhere with a direct rocket in his face, flying in the room, and there was absolutely nothing fancy he could do. What a setup there by Cypher, an absolutely beautiful play.
Because these guys are going to be playing for like 12 hours today, right? Like, it's an absolutely ridiculous bracket. So for Cypher to be able to sit back and know that, you know, he can just bide his time, he's going to find situations where he can make amazing frags like that. And if Fancy is going to feed like this, that's just going to make it the game all the easier for Cypher.
Yeah, you can't be running into the red armor room like that with nothing to your name and just be running against Cypher who's fully stacked. That's an easy frag. And, you know, every frag you give up is a frag away from winning the map, and winning the map is worth $16.67. So, you know, you can't be giving up these easy frags if you're Fancy here right now.
Yeah, how else are you going to pay for your bus fare to the LAN?
Totally. You got to win at least one map. And we did establish earlier that $16.67 is many coffees in Russia. So, you know, that's not bad. One map, couple of coffees. It's a LAN worth turning up to. Anyway, Cypher with a bit of damage here. Fancy actually has a huge amount of armor now. But Cypher doesn't seem too stressed about it. Coming to this mega health very early. And takes a bit of damage, trades a bit of damage, stacks fairly even now, and yeah, Cypher probably will come in for this red armor and try to get the kill. Fancy, not an advised play. Oh, he actually ends up doing a lot of damage, and Cypher hits a clutch rail there as well. And did Cypher hit that rail? Oh no, he didn't.
No, the last one he didn't. I like the slow field play. I think it's not as strong as people necessarily think it is. Cypher always has the power to back out of that room, more or less, and if you're going to push into him, you're going to take a lot of damage. Mega, yeah, Cypher, he just disappears. He's got this 4-frag lead. That's a pretty comfortable place to be.
And yeah, again with your slow field play, I think the thing is about the slow field, which people don't realize, is that as you get higher and higher level in the game, people's lightning gun accuracy, shaft accuracy is so high anyway, and so having a slow weeble or not is a lot less difference than when it's a lower level game. So when you're coming against the best of the best, slow weeble plays are less effective than they are against lower level players. So yeah, I think it's something that these players like Fancy might be adjusting to as they come up against better players.
Yeah, and especially on LAN, it's going to be compounded again, right? Because everyone's just going to hit those higher base level accuracies. Fancy got the frag there and then played really quiet. So Cypher's going to be able to collect the shaft with no issue. Fancy with the pincer out there, it's going to just slow down how he's able to move around. Cypher wants to come down and look for the exit damage, make it hard for Fancy to push out. Mega's gonna come out while Cypher's just been sitting around wasting Fancy's time. And massive dive for it for Cypher. Fancy, some awkward weapon selection there, makes it a bit easier for Cypher to get across, I think. And now for this next red, Fancy is going to have a really, really hard fight if he's going to show up at all.
Cypher misses a shot, Fancy misses a shot, it doesn't really matter. Cypher probably wanted to hit that shot considering that that red armor didn't really mean much to him anyway. But I don't think Cypher's stressing at all. He's kind of just running around the map at this point and just dealing damage. He's happy trading damage because he knows when it counts, he'll do max. And oh, actually Fancy with a really nice slow play there, and then predicting where Cypher would be. Coming in here with the zoom shaft, and he actually hits so much and steals the red armor. Giant play here from Fancy, and could we see some more big brain plays like that happen?
That was immense, OG. And you know, I'm enjoying watching Fancy's point of view in general. You know, like he's obviously a fairly high sensitivity acceleration player. He's got a very like rigid setup. Like compared to Cypher, he's chilled out, he's spread out. Fancy has good posture. You know, he's really gripping onto that mouse, and pulls out just ridiculously smooth OG when Cypher didn't expect it, but capitalized on the fact Cypher would be just strafing to the right there. Oh. See, this is awkward, and again, every time Fancy pulls out the pincer, it feels like Cypher's there ready with the shaft to push him.
And the camera hasn't updated to Cypher right now, but that's just an anecdotal note. But oh, you can see Fancy shaking his head after he got fragged there. He was like, oh, just a terrible. Oh my goodness! The levitation by Cypher and the follow-up frag as well, and we got 5 seconds to golden frag. He doesn't want to actually frag him right now. He does it anyway because he doesn't
care.
And,
he doesn't care.
And Cypher, oh my goodness, finishing out this map with frag material highlights, and Cypher looking so good so far. And you know what? Cypher is giving us trademark Cypher plays right now, which I think is really cool. Like catching people, levitating them with the lightning gun, doing amazing lightning gun work, hitting really great rockets, and yeah, I just think Cypher playing really, really excellent so far.
The one that really got me, the vertically down aiming OG, that was nuts. I don't know how he hit so much just aiming down like that. Like, it's superhuman. But yeah, I mean, Cypher shows up to LAN, right? Either he wins everything or he bombs. It's 50-50. You know, this could be amazing form Cypher, and if he's able to take it easy in some of these early games, you know, just relax, feel really good about himself, he could come in swinging, and he could be a hot contender. And Agent might be regretting, you know, calling out Danchez as his #1 threat.
Well, boys, I hate to spoil the party, but we're going to be switching the stream over to our actual producer now, so we're going to be down for a few seconds, and then we'll be right back.
Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.